somebody from the Netherlands, Dutch, blunt, and I also like to cheat a little bit. So after having seen Imani this morning and using the phone to make a picture, I thought I'd make a couple of slides. You know, so at the end of the day, it's possible to do those things. I want to be a bit provocative in my approach on why things are not working. I don't believe it's a learning style. I don't believe it's based on the fact that we have a different generation. I think it's based on the fact that we get much more information coming to us. And that has changed over the last 30 years. In 1985, when I graduated from university, I was 15 years old when I graduated. There was about 5% new information coming to us. And there is an interesting research that is done every 10 years by Bingham University out of Utah that showed when you came from university in 1985, you could about 10 years work with 75% of what you learned in university. Today, that is 6%.
Wow.
So when you come from university, about 6% of what you learn will be valid for another 10 years. And why is that? Because every 13 months, the amount of information doubles. So not 5%. We can go into that discussion. Secondly, when I saw the title of my group, it was Training ROI. And I think that training is absolutely the wrong word. I think that by putting training on it, we have screwed ourselves as a training department. I think we are an L&D department. We are even more, we are an learning and performance department. Yeah, completely different. So if you look at this beautiful drawing, then what you see here is what we do as training. We bring people to a certain level of mastery. We're really good at that. We have done that for the last 50 years. We have used ADDIE to design classroom training and e-learning to bring people to that mastery level. Then they leave the classroom, they stop the e-learning, and what happens, you know, the spiral of the debt of knowledge, you know. After 3 weeks, 80% is gone. I put a question mark here because in the transfer area, we as L&D folks don't do a lot. We're not involved anymore. We have trained them, we have certified them, and we walk away. The biggest problem is here because of that change in information. At the moment that they walk out of the classroom with their course materials, the course materials are out of date because they change. And if we don't have a sustainment strategy in L&D, we are at risk. Why is that happening? Another slide. We as training departments, what do? We provide training solutions. We have a catalog, we have an LMS with a huge amount of training solutions. So what happens when people walk into our office? They come in, not talking about the problem they have, they come in with the idea that they can get a 2-day management training, communication training. Because, you know, I need a 2-day communication training. Why? Because my people don't communicate well, or they don't manage well. So why is it 2 days? I only have budget for 2 days. You know, it's not related to the problem. So we have a catalog with solutions. So we should blame ourselves if we stick with the catalog of solutions where we think we have KPIs that solve certain business problems. You know, it's the same thing as if I would go to a doctor and walk into his office and say, I have a terrible pain here and I need 6 Advils to solve that problem. That's not how we should go to our L&D departments. We should go to our L&D departments starting with the problem. Talk about, you know, I have a problem in my department, or in my group, or in the people that I serve, and I have to achieve these KPIs to solve that. And that's the discussion you have with your L&D department. And based on that discussion, as an L&D department, you will come up with a solution. You will design a solution to solve that problem. You know, and that solution will always be different. It will not be always a classroom training. Classroom might be a part of it. E-learning might be a part of it. Today I see a lot of performance support, a lot of adaptive learning solutions as part of that overall solutions. And I call that a learning and performance ecosystem. And I've done this now for the last 15 years, and the last 4 or 5 years I see a lot of success within big corporations in the US and in Europe. And what we achieve is that we reduce the amount of training time, classroom time, e-learning time with about 50%. There's still classroom training, but the classroom training is much more focused on what the classroom is good for, which is discussions, which is, you know, getting to know the people, which is exercises, not, you know, providing only a lot of information. I was working on a project for the Department of Defense. They had a security training on 5 days. The training, we had to sit in it for 2 times for 5 days. There were 980 slides, 1.8 slide a minute, with 9 points per slide. Wednesday afternoon they were at, on average, slide 375 to 390, and on Friday afternoon they were at 980 because they had to go through it. So it was 90% presenting, 10% discussion about what they presented, and 5% review and feedback. You know, it was terrible. The teachers hated it, the students hated it, everybody was unhappy with it. What we did a critical skills analysis, and we looked what is really needed in your job and what does need to be trained in the classroom. That was about 75 slides. And the rest we could put in a system that they could use at the moment that they needed the information, because the information was not that critical that they needed to have it top of mind. So we reduced the training to 75 slides, which was now 2 days instead of 5. But instead of 80% presenting, we now had 20% presenting, and we had 45% practicing and discussions with those experts that were in front of the classroom, which was a much better solution. And they got a mobile performance support solution that helped them at the moment of need, and was trained in the classroom how to use that solution. So in the end, we see now that if you focus on training, you can have the time to competency reduced to 50%. So people are much faster competent. And your learning and the performance department can focus on sustainment. So social strategy, social learning, all those strategies are part of that tool set that the L&D department has. We do a project with Bayer in Germany, 4,500 sales and marketing reps. They thought performance support was only around IT systems. No, it's a soft system. 80% of our projects in performance support are now soft skills, leadership, sales and marketing. And what the learning group does is constantly reviewing the remarks that come up, the ratings, and all that stuff, so that we continuously improve the content that is used by the 4,500 salespeople. So I want to, on my table, I want to talk about what does it mean for our L&D organization to start with a problem and look at the KPIs, the ROIs that we want to achieve. I think we need to start with ROI KPIs before anything else.